What's up guys, I'm Machugan here to give you my preview for Arsenal versus Burnley. Arsenal back at home at the Emirates, of course, Saturday early kickoff. I'm going to quickly go through the Newcastle game, obviously. Great win last week against Newcastle, considering we had 6 or 7 players, first teamers, not available for the game. All I wanted was the 3 points, that's what we got. Mkhitaryan, quick notes from the game. Mkhitaryan, get in the bin, shouldn't play for Arsenal again. Great great showing from the likes of Reece Nelson. Joe Willock proved why I put him in 1 to 11 in the first place with a great performance. Maitland-Niles actually played really good as a right back in the game as well, providing the assist for Aubameyang's goal. And obviously, Aubameyang goes without saying, the guy scores goals, goal and boot last season, and he's got off the campaign with a bang. We needed a win in our first game against Newcastle, and that's what we got, and that's what I'm happy with. The performance might not have been there. Also, shout out Callum Chambers, who had a great game as well defensively, and the whole defence also was very solid, keeping out Newcastle's attack. Joe Linton, I'm not gonna lie, if he had a few more games under his belt in the Premier League, he really could have caused us a lot of problems. Had a couple of decent chances, but maybe it was just butterflies, or maybe it was just butterflies in the fact that it was his first Premier League start for Newcastle as their main man. St. Maxim, when he came on, looked quite decent for them, but again, still adjusting to the Premier League. Newcastle are a very poor side, and the game was actually quite poor as well, but first half we could have been at least 1 or 2-0 down. In the second half, though, we stepped it up, we controlled the game, we controlled the tempo, and eventually, after Jamal Lascelles completely lost Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, he scored and it won us the game, which is great. Now we are off against Burnley at home at the Emirates, back in front of the Arsenal supporters, of course, against a Burnley side who beat Southampton 3-0 in their opening game at Turf Moor, so they've got their tails up. Burnley, of course, as we know, are a team who are very, very, very rough. They know how to play rough, and they know how to play dirty. It's just the way Sean Dyche tells them to play, and they'll be looking to do that against us. Last season they tried it on with us. Unai Emery's Arsenal said no. Emery set them up to be just as physical as what Burnley were, and my goodness did it work. And also Guendouzi doing his best to get as many fouls as he possibly could, which worked at the time as well, which is great. Quick injury news before I go into the 1 to 11. Obviously, Granit Xhaka had an okay-ish game from what I'm hearing against Newcastle. Had a not so good first half, and he stepped it up in the second half, which is great. But he picked up a knock in that game, and has been assessed. So I don't think he will start, because I don't think he'll risk him if he's got a knock and he hasn't trained. I don't think he really should be playing against Burnley. So he's not going to be in my 1 to 11 because of that. Lacazette looks like he's back in full fitness. Been obviously in full match training. Didn't actually need to bring him on against Newcastle, which is great. Özil and Kolasinac back after the whole security incident, which is great to hear. Whether they're 100% mentally ready, Unai Emery has said that they are 100% mentally there and ready in his press conference, but whether that means they actually are is a complete other story. Obviously, we've still got the likes of Holding, Bellerin and Kieran Tierney and Mavropanos still recovering from their retrospective injuries. But Rob Holding did play another hour in the under-23s, which is great. Smith Rowe also played a little bit, I think, in the under-23s. I think he also came off injured, which is a bit unfortunate for him. But like I've mentioned previously, right, Mkhitaryan, he's a player who I don't think should play for Arsenal again. It's a joke, it really is. Like I said in the past, these youngsters who do make mistakes, the likes of Reece Nelson and Joe Willock, they are alright to make mistakes because they're only young and they're still developing from being at under 23 level to the main stage, the Premier League level. They are alright to make mistakes. Mkhitaryan is an international, an Armenian international. He shouldn't be making mistakes. Manchester United binned him off for Alexis Sanchez. It's probably the worst swap deal in history, but they swapped him for a reason, because he wasn't good enough. He's not the player he once was at Borussia Dortmund. We brought him as a player who could, At the time, we didn't buy Aubameyang, but we thought Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan could link up really well with Aubameyang. Happened for a couple games, lads, and then it just completely stopped, which is just... the guy is not going to be offloaded because no one's going to pay the ridiculous wages that we paid for him. And that's just facts. It really is. And I don't think it'll be his last game in Arsenal shirt. Even if he plays in Europa games, play him in Europa in the group stage. Just don't play him in the league. And I know the reason why he played him in the league was that's because Lacazette was out, Pepe was still not 100% ready to start, and Mesut Özil wasn't there either. So that's the reason why he started. But I did want to just give once again my little piece on Mkhitaryan. He wasn't great. He really wasn't great against Newcastle. But like I've mentioned, Burnley, tough. Sean Dyche knows how to put out a team to literally kick you off the field, and I'm pretty sure that's what he'll do again against Arsenal. But it hasn't worked in the past, and I don't think it will work again. I'm actually going to go for a 2-0 win for Arsenal. My 1-11 I'll go into now. Starting in goal, I'd go Bernd Leno. He didn't put a foot wrong against Newcastle, and also he's our number one goalkeeper, so he will start in goal against Burnley. Left back, Nacho Monreal, for the same reasons. Didn't really put much wrong against Newcastle, so he starts at left back. Kolasinac just coming back from the security issues. I don't think it'd be fair to really start him straight away. And also, as I've mentioned in my Newcastle preview, I don't think that he is a left back. I think he's a left wing back, and for the system I'm going for in the back four, Monreal's a left back. Kolasinac isn't, and Tony isn't ready yet. So Monreal at left back. Right back, Ainsley Maitland-Niles for the same reasons. Bellerin's still out injured. Yes, it isn't his natural position, Maitland-Niles. However, he did play really well against Newcastle and obviously set up Aubameyang's goal against Newcastle. So he'll be playing at right back now. Two centre-halves. First of all, Callum Chambers. He was our best centre-half out of him and Socrates, that is, against Newcastle. Very surprising to many, including myself. He really stepped up and took his opportunity, which is great to see from a coach's perspective, obviously, and from a fan's perspective. It's just great to see that he knows that David Luiz is coming in. Rob Holding could be back in about 3 weeks, hopefully. And Mavropanos, but he's not really in the plans. But you get what I mean. He knows that he's going to have to play well, and if he doesn't play well, he's going to be dropped out of the team, because that's what happens at a top club. And he started really well, and I think based on that performance, he deserves to play, and he deserves to maintain his spot for the Burnley game. Alongside him, though, I'm actually going to not say Socrates. I'm actually going to go David Luiz and make his debut. Just before the new... Obviously, I'm thinking ahead here. We've got Liverpool at Anfield next week. Now, I would start David Luiz next week against Liverpool. Obviously, based on how he plays against Burnley, if he does play. They're a big physical team. I know Socrates can be very physical as well, but I think David Luiz is more of a leader than Socrates, and I think he needs to have some minutes in this Arsenal team before he plays against Liverpool. Hence why I'm putting him alongside Callum Chambers in my defence. Just in front of them, the midfield pivot, obviously, Granit Xhaka, just mentioned, hasn't had a knock from the Newcastle game. I don't think he'll be ready to play. He might be on the bench, but I don't think he should be starting if he's got a knock, thinking ahead again. I'm actually going to go Lucas Torreira to replace him. Even though he's not played any minutes himself since being in the Copa America, I do think he should be starting this game. Because alongside the player who I will be mentioning in a second, them two had great link-up last season and was great as a midfield too. And really did save us at times, especially with our bad defending. And it's almost like their good defending in the midfield kind of did help us gain some points. Which was great, obviously. And if you guys haven't guessed it already, alongside him, I'm going to go Matteo Guendouzi. Had a very decent game. A lot of people, including myself, always seem to forget this guy's only 19 years old. He has the maturity of a mid-20-year-old midfielder. He's so calm on the ball. Yes, he can make mistakes, but again, that's what you've got to remember. He's only 19. He's very energetic. I think having him and David Luiz on the pitch is just going to be a laugh as well. So, just for that reason, Matteo Guendouzi and Torreira will be in my midfield. The number 10 role, This is where I'm going to need your guys' help in the comments down below. Now, it seems like this should be a very, very easy choice. Joe Willock, like I've mentioned in my previous video for the Newcastle preview, he did start. He did take his opportunity, like I said he would, and he had a great pre-season as well. So, technically, Joe Willock should be in the number 10. But obviously, Mesut Özil is our main number 10 player, and he's coming back now. He's come back now. Obviously, had a good, decent minutes in pre-season before this whole incident happened with the gangs and stuff like that. Before that happened, he was having a really good pre-season, and I was actually looking forward to him coming back and seeing what he could do. So you've obviously got him as an option. Danny Ceballos came on for Joe Willock against Newcastle, and he played quite well as well. And honestly, I could not pick for the life of me who to pick. Obviously, anyone would say Mesut Özil, right? And this is the sort of game where he will turn up and he will do the business and he will fill in the gaps where Burnley, who have a solid defence, obviously will be tight and compact, and he will find a space and he will find those killer passes to get through that defence. You just know he will. But is his head 100% there? Because let's face it, if that happened to me or happened to anyone else, I don't think my head would still be there. And if it is still there, then fair play to him. But I don't think he should be. I don't think. I can see him coming on with a little cameo with 20 minutes to go. Hopefully, we're already winning the game by then. But I think to put the pressure on him to start, I don't care how many wages you're on. Yes, I know I've had my doubts and I've had my feelings towards Mesut Özil, as you guys have been seeing in previous videos. But when it comes to stuff like this, I really don't think you should be literally putting him straight in there. Obviously, it's better than putting him straight in there at Anfield next week, which I don't think he'll do. That's another thing to take into account. Özil didn't really play much against top 6 sides away from home last season. So based on that logic, you'd obviously pick Mesut Özil in this game and not play him at Anfield, which will probably happen. But again, is he even ready for this game? Who knows? And that's along with Kolasinac as well. I'm not just saying Mesut Özil, I'm saying Kolasinac as well. Even though Emery has alliterated that they are 100% physically ready and to play, the players could say that, but doesn't mean they necessarily are. Do you know what I mean? So, who knows? And like I've said, Danny Ceballos, he needs minutes as well. I really cannot pick this number 10 role. Honestly, I can think of valid points for all three. But let me know in the comments down below who should play and the number 10. Should it be Joe Willock? Should it be Mesut Özil? Or should it be Danny Ceballos? Also, let me know why. And also, if you want to pick multiple, like 2 of those players to be in, let's say take out Torreira or Guendouzi, let me know who for and let me know what in the comments down below. Now onto the forwards, front 3. Obviously, Lacazette did not play at all against Newcastle. And I think he'll be ready to play against Newcastle. So I'm actually going to go for him to start against Newcastle and be our main striker. So in the striker position, I'm going to go Lacazette. On the left, I'm going to go Aubameyang. I know he is not a left winger. However, he does play pretty well there with Lacazette, obviously. And I think his link-up play with Lacazette is excellent, and I think them two do bring the best out of each other as well. And on the right, Pepe played half an hour. Will he be ready for... I think it's going to be one of those where Lacazette might not be full match fit yet. No, not full match fit, sorry. He might not be full 90-minute ready. So I think maybe with half an hour to go, they'll bring off Lacazette and they'll bring on Pepe. I can't see that front 3 being unleashed just yet, lads. I'm sorry. I really cannot see it. Pepe's just come back from the African Cup of Nations. Yes, he played 25 minutes and Lacazette hasn't played any minutes, but he also had a full pre-season, Lacazette. So there is that as well, apart from obviously when he got injured against Lyon. But I think the guy who does deserve to start, his first home Premier League start for the Arsenal, I'm going to go Reece Nelson. Or on the left and put Aubameyang on the right. Whatever happens, that's the front 3 I'm going for. Aubameyang, Lacazette and Reece Nelson. And I'm actually going to say it once again, like I said, Pepe to come on for Lacazette, or maybe even for Nelson. We'll go for that front 3 if Lacazette can play the full 90. And obviously, what I do is, like I said, I'm swapping and changing whether to Lacazette not to start and for Pepe to start. And if that was to be the case, I'd put Nelson out on the left, Aubameyang up front, and Pepe on the right. It's either going to be that front three I've just said, or the one I previously mentioned, which is Aubameyang on the left, Nelson on the right, which he can play both sides. He did for Hoffenheim, and Lacazette up front. And like I previously mentioned, my score prediction is 2-0 to the Arsenal. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below, and who should play out of these three players: Joe Willock, Mesut Özil, or Danny Ceballos. Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks guys for watching this video. Like it if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. I've been the True Gooner. Thanks for watching, and peace.